Nancy Jane Kulp was born on August 28, 1921, in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the only child of Marjorie and Robert Tilden Kulp. Growing up without siblings gave Nancy a uniquely close relationship with her parents, both of whom shaped her character in lasting ways. Her mother, Marjorie, was a devoted educator who rose from classroom teacher to school principal, instilling in Nancy a respect for discipline, learning, and intellectual curiosity. Her father, Robert, worked as a traveling salesman, often away from home, which encouraged Nancy to develop independence, resilience, and adaptability at a young age. Together, her parents created a stable, nurturing environment that allowed her imagination and determination to flourish. Nancy learned early how to balance structure with self-reliance, a combination that would later define her approach to both her career and personal life. These early influences quietly prepared her for a life that would span education, military service, entertainment, and public service. Education and the call to service. Nancy's academic journey began at Florida State College for Women, now Florida State University, where she pursued a degree in journalism. Drawn to storytelling and people's lived experiences, she thrived in a field that combined curiosity with discipline. She graduated in 1943 during the height of World War II, a moment when the nation demanded sacrifice and participation from all capable citizens. After graduation, she worked briefly as a writer for the Miami Beach Tropics, covering cultural and social events that exposed her to performers, public figures, and the mechanics of public image. Yet the war effort weighed heavily on her conscience. Choosing service over comfort, Nancy left further studies at the University of Miami to enlist in the United States Naval Reserve, joining the WAVES program. At a time when women in uniform were still forging their place, Nancy embraced the challenge, determined to contribute meaningfully while proving her competence and dedication. Military service and personal growth. Nancy Kulp's years in the United States Naval Reserve proved formative in ways that extended far beyond her official duties. Serving during World War II required discipline, adaptability, and emotional resilience, qualities Nancy embraced fully. She earned commendations for her service, gaining respect from peers and superiors alike in an environment that demanded excellence under pressure. The experience sharpened her confidence and reinforced her sense of purpose, while also broadening her worldview. Military life exposed her to people from diverse backgrounds, deepening her understanding of human nature and strengthening her empathy. When she was honorably discharged in 1946, Nancy carried with her a sense of accomplishment and maturity that would guide her next chapter. The war had tested her limits, but it had also clarified her strengths. Rather than returning to a conventional path, Nancy felt emboldened to explore new opportunities, trusting her instincts and experience to lead her forward into unfamiliar but promising territory. Entering Hollywood and early film work. By the early 1950s, Nancy Kulp had turned her attention to acting, stepping into Hollywood with determination rather than illusion. She made her film debut in The Model and The Marriage Broker in 1951, a modest beginning that marked the start of a long, steady career. Additional roles in The Marrying Kind and Steel Town followed, allowing her to refine her craft and build credibility. Nancy quickly demonstrated a talent for supporting characters, bringing intelligence and warmth to every performance. Her role in The Caddy showcased her comedic timing, earning her recognition as a dependable and engaging presence. In 1954, she appeared in Sabrina, a major production that placed her alongside some of Hollywood's most celebrated stars. Though her role was small, the experience solidified her reputation as a professional actress capable of enhancing any ensemble with subtlety and charm. Television success and comic identity television soon became the medium where Nancy Kulp truly flourished. In 1955, she joined The Bob Cummings Show as Pamela Livingstone, a character whose intelligence and eccentricity resonated with audiences. The role established Nancy as a familiar face in American households and demonstrated her ability to balance humor with sincerity. Throughout the 1950s and early 1960s, she appeared in a remarkable range of programs, including Our Miss Brooks, Date with the Angels, 77 Sunset Strip, and the Jack Benny program. Nancy's adaptability allowed her to move seamlessly between comedy and drama, never overshadowing a scene, but always elevating it. Her performances were marked by precision, warmth, and a quiet confidence that made even brief appearances memorable. At a time when television was rapidly shaping popular culture, Nancy became a trusted presence, embodying characters that felt authentic, intelligent, and deeply human. Film roles and continued versatility. While television dominated much of her career, Nancy Kulp never abandoned film, continuing to appear in comedies, dramas, and westerns throughout the 1960s. She worked alongside major stars in projects such as Who's Minding the Store, Strange Bedfellows, and The Night of the Grizzly, demonstrating her range across genres. Nancy brought depth to characters that might otherwise have been overlooked, grounding larger-than-life stories with realism and wit. Her professionalism and reliability made her a valued collaborator, and directors trusted her to deliver strong performances without excess. Rather than chasing stardom, Nancy focused on consistency and craft, building a body of work defined by quality rather than spectacle. This approach allowed her career to endure as trends shifted, ensuring that she remained relevant and respected in an industry often marked by unpredictability and fleeting fame. Public service and political courage. In the 1980s, Nancy Kulp once again surprised audiences by stepping into public service. After years of involvement with the Democratic State Committee in Pennsylvania, she ran for Congress in 1984 as the Democratic nominee for the state's 9th district. Her campaign emphasized education, social welfare, and civic responsibility, reflecting values that had guided her throughout her life. Though she ultimately lost the general election, her candidacy demonstrated courage and conviction. Nancy understood the risks of public life, but believed that participation itself was an act of service. The campaign reinforced her lifelong belief that engagement mattered, regardless of outcome. Rather than viewing the experience as a setback, she treated it as another opportunity to contribute. This chapter of her life highlighted her intellectual seriousness and commitment to improving communities, extending her legacy beyond entertainment into meaningful civic involvement, teaching, mentorship, and giving back. Following her political endeavors, Nancy returned to education, becoming an artist in residence at Juniata College in Pennsylvania. Teaching acting and theater allowed her to merge experience with purpose, shaping young performers through mentorship rather than performance. Students admired her honesty, humor, and practical wisdom, gaining insight into both the craft and realities of professional life. Nancy approached teaching with the same discipline she had learned from her mother and the same adaptability forged during her military service. Later, she settled in Palm Springs, California, where she devoted time to charitable causes, including animal welfare, disability advocacy, and local theater organizations. These efforts reflected her enduring compassion and belief in community engagement. Even in retirement, Nancy remained active and purposeful, choosing service over quiet withdrawal. Her generosity of time and spirit left a lasting impression on those who encountered her beyond the screen. Reflections on legacy and influence. In her later reflections, Nancy Kulp spoke thoughtfully about the people and moments that shaped her career. She admired artists who worked boldly and authentically, valuing creative courage over conformity. Rather than focusing on celebrity, she emphasized presence, professionalism, and integrity. Nancy understood that lasting impact often comes from consistency rather than spectacle. Her own career mirrored that belief, built steadily through decades of dependable, intelligent performances. She recognized the importance of representation, storytelling, and humor as tools for connection, not division. By remaining true to herself, Nancy carved out a unique space in entertainment history. She showed that success could be defined by contribution rather than acclaim, and that character actors often leave the deepest impressions. Her reflections reveal a woman who valued growth, honesty, and service, qualities that continued to guide her until the very end of her life. Final years and enduring memory. Nancy Kulp faced her final years with characteristic strength and dignity. After a long battle with cancer, she passed away on February 3, 1991, at the age of 69 in Palm Desert, California. Her death marked the close of a life defined by service, creativity, and quiet courage. She was laid to rest in Mifflintown, Pennsylvania, returning symbolically to her roots. Nancy's legacy endures through her performances, her students, and the causes she supported. She remains remembered not only for iconic television roles, but for her intelligence, generosity, and integrity. In an industry often driven by excess, Nancy Kulp stood out through restraint, professionalism, and heart. Her life reminds us that meaningful success is built over time, shaped by values, and sustained through service. Long after the final curtain, her influence continues to resonate,